Hey all, welcome back. This is a little share. It's actually an extraction from the longer format of the live Q&A recently. And I thought this question and answer might be generally helpful for some people. I'll try to have it kind of defined in the title so that you're only clicking on it if it's something that will be useful to you in your claim or your post-claim activity with the SSA with regard to either Social Security disability, SSI dependent benefits, or retirement benefits, or anything else that could touch on the Social Security world that we all swim in right now. So I hope it helps, and I will talk to you later. If you ever want to be there live, that would be Wednesday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the usually about 2 hours Q&A session, so anybody can ask their Social Security questions if they so desire. Okay, I will see you then. Bye, guys. Tara's got a little addition. Hi, Tara, again. I guess I should have said, will passive unearned income, not from a job, affect my SSDI? If someone were to gift me some of their lotto winnings or give me yeah, no, you can be gifted hugely. Don't you? Yes, SSDI. Remember, SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, is your Social Security insurance that you paid for, right? It's not welfare. It's not a charitable gift from the taxpayers. It's not SSI. It is insurance that you bought. And so as long as you remain disabled under the rules, you can be gifted for sure. Okay. And you shouldn't have to report it either. Now, if they send you a 1099 saying you earned it, that's another story. That's a problem. Good morning. SGA. It's such a common question, and it is so very important for Social Security Disability or SSI. I'm going to try to just give you some overall really fast. You get a kind of a broad understanding of why this is important. In the sequential evaluation process, when the SSA decides if you are disabled and when, the first question they have to answer is the person working SGA now? Okay. At other times, they will look to see if you were doing SGA in the past, but it always has to do with if we are doing it during a period of alleged disability or it was a period of disability in the past. Okay, substantial gainful activity. That is what SGA stands for. I'm going to also read you a little bit from the Social Security narrative here, so you can take a listen. And I will make sure that this there'll be a button at the end that has this exact page, so you can click on it and read this for yourself, because I know sometimes it's not so easy to absorb while you're just listening. So in this particular section, they are introducing the issue of work performed during a period of alleged inability to engage in substantial gainful activity, SGA, substantial gainful activity. Okay, it concerns work performed by a claimant filing for benefits or by an individual already entitled to benefits. That's what I alluded to before. And they go into two different things here. Substantial gainful activity means the performance of significant physical or mental activities in work for pay or profit, or in work of the type generally performed for pay or profit. So even if you're doing something voluntary and not getting paid, it can still be considered substantial gainful activity, regardless of the legality of the work. Thus, if you are doing something like dealing drugs and making money, that will still potentially count as SGA, even though dealing drugs might be illegal. Okay. Or if you're, I'm making stuff up here, prostituting yourself, is it SGA? I mean, you could think of all the different kind of illegal things that can be certainly substantial and gainful. Now they give you a definition or a narrative with regard to the term significant activities. Significant activities are useful in the accomplishment of a job or the operation of a business and have economic value. Work may be substantial even if it is performed on a part-time basis, or even if the individual does less, is paid less, or has less responsibility than in previous work. So merely dropping down in duties at work does not necessarily put you under SGA. Work activity is gainful if it is the kind of work usually done for pay, whether it's paid in cash or in kind. Now remember, in kind could be anything other than cash. It can be clothing, it could be perks, it can be food, it can be shelter, or for profit, whether or not a profit is realized. Activities involving self-care, household tasks, unpaid painting, unpaid training, hobbies, therapy, school attendance, clubs, social programs, etc., are not considered to be SGA. Now, those things can be considered to determine whether someone is disabled or not, but they're not going to be used to determine if someone is doing work activity that if they were paid to do it, they would be earning over SGA or showing that they were doing SGA activity. Okay, so SGA, it's an activity review, as kind of described here. There's also a black and white amount of money that if we earn it and we don't have deductions from it, that would bring us to a lower amount. It can be also a kind of like a black and white finding of SGA without even looking at the activity. So SGA in 2023 was 1470. SGA in 2024 is now 1550. So if you hit those numbers, you would be deemed to be doing substantial gainful activity if that activity paid that amount. So that's kind of like the black and white. And again, if you hit the number, always look to some of the exceptions where certain amounts of that earnings can be deducted that could bring you below SGA if SGA is otherwise going to prevent you from filing or cause you a termination later. SGA, it's what we're doing, and it has to do with whether we are disabled or not under the rules. If we earn too much, we are not eligible for disability under the rules. And it's definitely an inquiry that takes a little more analysis, because sometimes brief periods of earning SGA or doing activity that would be deemed SGA can be argued to have been a failed work attempt. Okay, so it's not necessarily cut and dry. It is or it isn't. It really depends on a lot of questions. So if you're dealing with a question of SGA and you're concerned about it, you probably want to get a consultation on it or do a lot of reading, because it can make or break a current case or create a potential cessation of benefits later. Okay, SGA. By and large, when we first analyze a case as to whether or not we're going to take it, that's one of the questions I ask on my initial interview. Is what kind of work, when was it last done, how much? Because the question of SGA is going to go towards your application. There is a question, and I'll bring it up because on our format, we ask it when we gather our data. And it says, when do you believe your conditions became severe enough to keep you from working, even if you have never worked? And this answer would typically not be before you stopped earning more than SGA. It would usually be at the time you stopped earning SGA amounts or after. Now, that is not 100% all the time, but that's generally how it is. And the reason why they ask, when do you believe your condition might have? So let's say you're earning SGA, but you believe a year before you stopped working SGA, you went part-time, you stopped altogether, but a year before that, you feel like you were not able to keep working, although you still were. There is some remote instances where if we can prove that the work you were doing, and this would be by assistance from the employer confirming this by and large, if the work you were doing and getting paid above SGA for was actually not worth SGA and they were just kind of subsidizing you and being really nice, that could potentially come in there. By and large, though, that's a battle that unless you already have an employer willing to say you weren't working the amount they were paying you, they were kind of gifting you the other amount, this isn't going to bring you very far. So you could be spinning your wheels. So for us to consider it, the person has to have the goods in hand. Go get the letter from the employer saying how you were not earning your keep, but they were just kind of being nice to you. All right, SGA, substantial gainful activity. It's important when you apply. It is important all through your pending claim, very important for those that are working part-time, which is not necessarily a problem, but these are things that have to be addressed, and you need to talk about it with your representative and make sure you're not inadvertently putting yourself in danger. And it is also relevant after you stop, after your pending claim stops, you have prevailed, and now you are a beneficiary. If you are working part-time, this is uber critical, okay? You definitely want to have a fine analysis with it and make sure everything is working where it should and is not putting you in danger. Okay, SGA, substantial gainful activity. Talk to you later, guys.